Hey, good morning to you. It's good to be out on an actual mission, Trying to go for a hat trick today. We'll see if we can get a few videos in. I'm down here on the South Shore. I'm going to be traversing over to the Cape. It's going to be a nice morning. So, finally got all my crap moved out of my old place where I used to live. And now I just have to do the arduous process of continuing to fix up and repair and move into my new place. But we don't have to talk about all that because we're going to look at some real nice stuff today. Hopefully I'll get a few new plants to me in. We're going to start right here. Last video either came out, definitely the last video I shot, but maybe the last video that came out. I opened it up with a nice shot of an Onagraceae, an evening primrose, and a few weeks prior to that, a thought occurred to me. I really have never talked about that family, I don't think ever. Onagraceae, the evening primrose family. And it turns out, never mind Onagraceae, where there's like a dozen species, and maybe not a dozen, maybe like 8 or 9 species in New England, not just the 2 I thought. Quite a few Onagraceae species kind of have to search for them. There's a few other genera in that family as well. And what you're looking at right in front of you here is not the most common member of this genus in New England, but certainly one that is definitely native, because there's a question on the most common one. So this is a species of Ludwigia. This is Ludwigia alternifolia. This is the Seedbox, as the colloquial name for this. And this is, Seedbox is the common name. Most of Ludwigia goes by the common name, I think, willow evening primrose or water evening primrose. They like it damp. Indeed, we're down on the South Shore. I can smell the ocean from here. There's a nice estuary river right behind me. If you go back a little ways, and the ocean is on the breeze. This is certainly a saturated area. So I see where people are coming from when they say this. This definitely likes it damp. It's damp right here. So these guys, you get 4 species in New England. 2 are kind of rare. They're more abundant, I guess, out in the Midwest or out in the Midwest. What am I saying? Or down south. One is a circumboreal species. That's Ludwigia palustrine. So that's the real common one that's pretty much everywhere, that I opted not to cover just because it would have been super easy. It does look like this, but I'll highlight some of the morphological differences in a second here. And, again, you guys get that one in Europe. You get Ludwigia species around. They're around the temperate, warm temperate regions of the world. I'm not an expert. This one right here is, basically found all throughout the Northeast. And it is the one that I opted to cover. So we'll get into some of the morphology here. So I'm pretty sure the flower I got zoomed in on right now has 5 petals. So typically these have 4. Every once in a while, you get a plant that's, I'm just looking behind me here, there's a few more of them. Seems like you get some that are having 4, mostly 4. Occasionally you're getting 5 petals, 5 sepals on the thing. Generally speaking, Onagraceae, you're going to be dealing with 4-petaled flowers. Whatever. Looking in at the actual guts of the flower, I'll put the arrows there. I won't bother sticking my fat finger in there. You get your nice, kind of fat stigma there. Handful of stamens, some beautiful yellow petals, and then these actually have quite a nice calyx and an inferior ovary there. And we're going to talk about that inferior ovary in a second, because that gets real interesting. But first, I'm just going to zoom out. This is the overall stature of the plant. Kind of scrubby. Here's a bigger one. And let's talk about that inferior ovary right now, because it's pretty interesting with the fruits of these. So get the zoom back in there. Can I just? Oh, I've been having decent luck with the auto zoom. There we go. So here's one of the fruits. So the flower already popped off. You can see there's the abscission from where the stigma was. You can tell this guy was a 4-petaler because he still got those 4 persistent sepals there. And the fruit's a freaking square. That's where it gets the name Seedbox. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And I guess as they mature, they look real pretty when they mature. These will persist, you know, pretty long from what I've seen. And they make these nice little red box-shaped fruits. They swell up. And then they rattle like a little, kind of like Rhianthus does. They make a little rattle, little seed rattle there. Get that back in focus there. Nice little wings along it. I think those, as it swells up, I think those kind of disappear. So, yeah, you can see alternate. Second, alternate, somewhat lanceolate. I guess no, that's lanceolate leaves. Nice venation. Undersides get a little bit of a fuzz to it, nothing crazy, but that's a cool plant, you know. Onagraceae. I think they're more diverse out in the west, but you do get plenty. I'll show you an actual if you missed it in the last episode, because that wasn't about primrose or anything. I can show you an Onagraceae species down the way out. There's a whole bunch. It's a common. They're common, especially Biennis and perennis. The Common Evening Primrose, and I think it's Hairy Evening Primrose or something. No clue if these are annuals or biennials or perennials. It's not woody. And then again, what I'm holding right now, is this one of them? Yeah, this is one. This one just didn't flower. Well, the fact that there's some that don't flower probably means they are perennials or biennials, but I digress. I can look this up. It looks like it doesn't get a woody stem, but it's a forb, which fits the bill for the rest of the family, at least the ones I'm familiar with. So beautiful Ludwigia, alternifolia, nice plant. Onagraceae is a cool family. It's growing in a cool habitat. We're going to poke around here for a little bit, see what we get going on in the immediate vicinity. You got a cool rush, some sort of juncus species growing behind, not a grass, not a sedge. Got to remember, rushes are round. Rushes are round. There's the inflorescence right there. Very characteristic of a rush. And yeah, that's the flowers are seeds. Look like seeds at this point. Looks like that's done. And it just sends up a nice round little spike. Also loves the wetland habit. What's this right here? Oh yeah, here you go. Here's some growth from last year. Okay. Hang on a second. We just got lucky. So this looks like this was from last year. So that's what they turn into when they're fully mature. You can see that pops out. You can still see the scars there from the the 4 stamens and the stigma there, style stigma, and the seeds just rattle out like a little box. That's really cool. I'll be honest with you. I like that a lot. I'll save that because I'm going to take a picture of that in a second for the guys. So you get some rushes. We're coming up under a nice elm. Hope maybe Ulmus americana, maybe slippery elm, who knows, maybe red elm. Usually I just go off of how, yeah, see the leaf venation? So you see how these start to you can't really tell from the photo because the leaf is kind of I'm guessing this is a red elm, which is still a native elm, just one that doesn't get, not Ulmus americana. It could be, I don't know. I kind of, the elms, it's easier to go off of the flowers like it is for everything, but I won't get hung up on it. It's a nice elm. You get a nice alder. So a lot of species here that like it wet. You get some Impatiens, which are any flowers here? Yeah, here we go. There you go, right there. Impatiens capensis. Nice native Balsaminaceae member. Of course, you get your Eutrochium dubium. Love that plant. Growing some of that at home, you should too. You get a couple of these presumably invasive vines. Something like a, oh, there was a guy in there. Sorry, buddy. Probably invasive morning glory. Cool plants. I mean, not the worst invasive in the world, but still kind of annoying. And then you get a nice Euthamia. Formerly in the genus Saldago, an aster. Now moved to Euthamia just due to some, I see the obvious morphological differences. These grow much shrubbier, bushier than a Saldago, which just grows straight up, but whatever. It's just a composite, really common down in these parts, kind of common everywhere, but either I always get it mixed up. One grows, one starts in July and starts finishing up around now. The other one starts in September, booms to October. Graminifolia and caroliniana, and I never get it right. There's the it doesn't matter. It's a Euthamia, and there's only two of them. It's one or the other. I'll know just by the phonology which one it is. So anyway, some more Eutrochium back there. We're gonna take a walk around this habitat. We'll see what's going on. Lovely Ludwigia. In any case, I'll be able to show you one or two. Let's go maybe get one or two other things done while we're here. Don't have to make this a long one, and I'll show you what your standard issue, you know, Onagraceae Evening Primrose looks like on the way out there. So we'll check back in a second. Oh god dang, that's an impressive patch of Chimaphila maculata right there. Way too, well, not way too late, about a month too late to catch it in bloom. Those are those fruits maturing. Asteraceae, this is a monotrope, just in the tribe Pyroliae, which is, you know, they photosynthesize too. Some of the other two tribes there, Monotropae and Pterosporiae, don't photosynthesize. You know, ghost pipe, Monotropa uniflora, Hypothesis monotropa. I don't think we have any other achlorophyllus ones in New England. I guess technically Pterospora andromeda is sometimes spotted in New England, but by and large, we're getting a lot of these ones. Jesus Christ, excuse me. You get, like, you know, Chimaphila maculata, Chimaphila umbellata, Monesis uniflora, Ortholia secunda, a whole bunch of species of pyrola. We're getting mostly these leafy ones. Some of those are kind of rare too. This one's pretty abundant here, but it gets rare in certain pockets of the region. Chimaphila maculata with the lovely evergreen leaves. One of my first favorites. Beautiful, fragrant flower. Kind of weird looking on the thing, you know, about a month ago when it was blooming. But that's a healthy little patch of it right there. Coming up, I guess that makes sense, under an oak and a beech and a pine. Pretty much its three most notorious affiliates there. So, you know, needs the nice, healthy mycorrhiza in the soil that the trees are working with. So, we'll see. We'll see what's going on down by the river here, and if there's nothing interesting down there, we'll head up. I'll show you what a regular Onagraceae looks like, and then we'll call this episode done, and we'll go start another one. Well, that's the river right there, the Taunton River, and you know, some nice healthy beech trees down along the shore here. That's pretty nice, and a pretty clear understory. You see some remnants of some open grown trees back there, but I guess this has been preservation land for a while. Pretty much nothing along the shore except for what I presume to be Phragmites and the invasive reed species, and maybe Typha. But there's no real solid ground to get down to down there. That's all just mud. Over here, more or less on its way out, you get a couple flowers left on Clethra ornifolia. Likes the open. I mean, another plant that technically you see it in wetlands, but it'll do fine, you know, as long as you keep it watered. I'm going to plant some of these in my yard. I always recommend this one to folks. It's a great one to have. Yeah, there's some big ones over here too. Nice river shore held together by Clethra, and beech trees, a couple of white oaks hanging out, and then a ton of these nice beech trees, Ficus grandifolia. Anyway, yeah, let's just go look at the Onagraceae. We don't have to drag this out too long. I can do a short episode every once in a while. You know, someone just completely unrelated to what I just said. Someone was saying, "Oh, you always do a Chicago accent," and I slip into it because it's shtick. It's a direct reference to another YouTuber who does that. But they said you should lean into your New England accent. I don't really have a New England accent. I was born down east, which is, if you know Maine, that's like the northern shore of Maine. I'm not sure what the exact bounds of it are, but I was born, you know, up near Acadia. Haven't lived there since I was 2, so cut me some slack. But I grew up in New Hampshire. I don't have like a Southie. I can't do the Bill Burr, I'll slap you upside the head, you know, sort of Southie Bill Burr accent. I mean, I can get into the kind of like almost like the JFK, you know, when you got down there by the seaport, which almost sounds more like a Maine accent to me, because Martha, we gotta get in the car and go to Kennebunk. I don't know. I just don't really have. I just kind of have a nasally, you know, standard issue white northeastern accent. But you know, the Chicago, I'm not doing it intentionally. It's shtick, you know. But if you guys want me to, you know, really get into it, talk about my cousin Johnny down there. He's working for the highway department. it's not as nasally as the Boston accent. You kind of got it comes more from the front of the throat. It's like the pak you can have it yad. You're not really, you're in the nasal, but you're more up also in the front of your throat. You know, I get a scout from TF2 is supposed to be from Boston. If I was from if you were from where I was from, you'd be fucking dead. You know, it's subtle. Maybe it's subtle because I'm actually from here, and I don't hear it. I can hear it on some of my relatives who are from Massachusetts originally do it, but my dad's family from New Hampshire doesn't really they don't really have that drawn out A, or the lack of the A that the people have. So anyway, this was linguistics with NEcology. How you're hearing me talk right now is no more animated than how I usually. This is just how I sound. So actually, there's a nice. I think I can get down. Let's go see over here. If there's nothing down here, it'll jump to me looking at a primrose. If there is, we'll come back to it. Also, don't be a jackass and carve your name in a fucking beech tree. That's just poor manners. Let's go see if we can get down here. If not, we'll wrap this up. Well, as expected, there was nothing really down by the river except for a bunch of fireball nips left behind by the local degenerate teenagers. And you know, I support degeneracy, and you know, I get it. I was there, but you know, you're gonna do, you know, some degenerate shit like underage drinking, you know, loitering, premarital sexual relations. All well and good with me. I'm not, you know, I don't really care. Just take your garbage with you. Don't be a prick. Take your fucking garbage with you. Anyway, right in front of us is a plant that I became very familiar with and infatuated with last year. This is Apios americana, a really cool legume known as the American groundnut, and it vines rather aggressively around what appears to be some kind of maybe Solidago rugosa, but you know, a native plant, really cool one that served quite a practical usage to native peoples. It's got edible parts, not that I really care. You can look into that. It's actually cultivated commercially in you know, Japan and some parts of Asia. This one's just starting. Whole bunch in bud. They kind of remind me of lupines when they're in bud. And then, of course, you know, as expected of any legume, some nice compound leaves. So, real cool native pea. Can get kind of aggressive in the right situations, but it's not, you know, not the most common species in the world. I guess there's some you know, people who really like this as an ornamental plant, which I wholeheartedly support. It's a really cool looking plant. Just getting started now. It'll probably be really peaking in a couple months, or not a couple months, in a week or two. So, Apios americana. I didn't see that my first time coming through, but that's a good one. Would help if I actually showed you it. Fabaceae, nice pea. Yeah, I got a real bad habit of ending my videos too soon now, don't I? Because we got some interesting stuff right here. Check this out. This is a Eutrochium that I've not seen before. It's not Nova Anglii. I'll have to figure out which one it is. Eutrochium, Eutrochiae tribe. You get a narrow endemic one that's really cool. Actually grows not too far from here. Eutrochium Nova Anglii. That's not what this is. But it's also not the common one, perfoliatum, because obviously, you know, those leaves are not perfoliate. And that one, ooh, did this just sting me or something? No, I caught myself on something there. There's a few species of Eutrochium. The common one's perfoliatum. The narrow endemic is Nova Anglii. You get a few. I'll figure out which one this is. Those leaves, I've not seen those leaves on a Eutrochium before, so we'll figure it out. And then also you got a nice Smilax here. This is Smilax glauca. This is not the common greenbrier, nor is it the carrion flower. This is, you know, doing its own thing. This is I always forget what they call it. Catbrier or sawbrier. It's one of those two. It's the common name, but it doesn't matter because scientific names. Smilax glauca. Smaller but sharper spines than Smilax rotundifolia, the greenbrier. But you know, not too uninteresting. And what's this right here? Ow! Goddamn! Yeah, what the heck is this? Almost looks like an orchid or something, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Any basil leaves? No basil leaves. We'll figure out what this thing is. That's fascinating. Anywho, you know, always do a little extra lap. You know, you never know what you're gonna find. New Eupatorium species to me. I love that genus. I love that whole tribe. Same tribe as Joe-Pye. We were talking about this yesterday. There's another one of those things right there. Could barely make it out. I'm gonna figure out what that is. I'll put it down below if it's something interesting. Maybe it's nothing. But yeah, Eupatorium. Gotta respect them. I gotta get good pictures of the phyllories too before I go. Don't let me forget. You have to remind me. Speaking of cool trailing legumes, check this out. You got a species of Strophostyles here, one of the so-called fuzzy beans. These are real wild just because the little come on, what's in it? There we go. You can see there the keel always twists to the side. It's an asymmetrical flower. You got a guy hanging out in there. So that's the banner you would typically expect behind, and the wings are. You see where that, is that a spider or an ant? I can't tell, it's an ant. See where the ant's hanging out down at the bottom there? Those are your two wings, and then your keel just kind of curls up and around in this really peculiar way. You get, you know, I think there's 3 species of Strophostyles in New England. You get Strophostyles helvola, which is the one I've seen before. Whatever this one is, I don't know offhand, I'll figure it out though. And you know, there are the leaves there, almost looking like poison ivy leaves, but they're not. These are just your typical trifid legume leaves. You know how a clover has clover leaves. Most Fabaceae have, you know, the you know, they're doing compound leaves. All right, is this almost looks like asparagus, but I'm not sure what that is. All sorts of weird stuff growing down here along the estuary. Yeah, that's asparagus. It should smell like it. Let me see. You an asparagus, my friend? Let me actually show you. I think that is. It looks like it's something. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Strophostyles, maybe helvola. I'll figure out the exact species. And okay, we're kind of running out of time, so we'll get out of here right now. Okay, and real quick, let me just zoom there. On our way out, right there is an Onagraceae species, one of the common ones, I'm sure. Kind of hard to really get an appreciation for it right now because, as the common name suggests, those flowers are really at their best overnight. So, Onagraceae, same family as the Ludwigia, same typical 4-petal stature, and you know, that's what the fruits on this guy look like. So not doing the box fruits, but still, you know, very, very similar petal shape if you could actually see an answer. Ants doing something up in there. But anyway, we'll wrap it up here. Got 2 more sites to head to today. Maybe more if we have the time. And don't need to dilly-dally here. But anyway, hope you got something out of that. A lot more interesting stuff here than I expected. I have hardly expected to show up and just see that Ludwigia. But then I met a few new species, a few things I've never seen before. That's always exciting. That's what really, you know, gets me to still come out half the time. Anyway, take it easy.